You're watching Kenosha Community Television.
Welcome to Gateway Connection, the program that offers an inside look at the people, programs, and efforts of Gateway Technical College to connect with the communities, people, and industry it serves. Gateway Connection.
Hello and welcome to Gateway Connection. I'm Jane Herring. I'm the Marketing Director at Gateway Technical College. And today our program is going to be all about students and what we are doing to help them be more successful. We're going to be talking about financial literacy in just a couple of moments, and a new program being rolled out to students to help them to do better with their financial aid loans and to learn more about how to manage their money going forward. We're also going to be hearing about the electrical engineering program, and we'll finish our program today with learning a little bit more about scholarships. The Gateway Technical College Foundation offers some fabulous scholarships for our students. So all in all, we're talking about good ways that students can get their education and be able to afford it. So today, first, I'd like to introduce to you, we have Samantha or Sam Duzick and Tanya Prosko. Welcome.
Hi. Hi.
And they're both student finance specialists. And again, they're there to help students learn more about how to manage their money so that they can finish their education at Gateway and move on in the world. So there's a new program being rolled out called SALT, and I think we're all used to acronyms, and so everybody was like, what does SALT stand for? S-A. Well, it doesn't stand for anything from what I understand. SALT is a term that was actually, I guess SALT itself was money in the past, yep. Correct?
Exactly. So it's not an acronym. I think you were explaining earlier, Sam, that they...
Yes, so the organization that developed SALT is American Student Assistance, or ASA, and they used to actually be a guarantor for the FFEL student loan program. And as that kind of died out when the government switched over to the direct loan program, they wanted to switch their focus more to helping students be more financially savvy. So they were developing this program and needed a name for it and tossed around a couple ideas, and they just really liked the name SALT. They thought it was catchy, it was a good attention grabber, it got people to ask questions.
Sure.
And then when they found out that it used to be an old form of money, they thought it was perfect. And so that program was born a couple years ago, and we've just recently decided to bring it to our students and alumni.
And it just sounds fabulous. And the main goal of encouraging our students to participate is what?
We had two goals in partnering with SALT, and we're one of a few of the technical colleges in the state who are partnering with SALT. Our hopes are that all 16 technical colleges will use their resources. But I think it was kind of twofold. It was, one, as we're discussing, helping our students understand financial situations, not just financial aid. What is budgeting? What is that purchasing of a first car going to look like for them? A lot of our students need that knowledge, if you will. But the other thing...
A lot of adults do.
Yeah, a lot of adults do, exactly. And the second reason we brought it is we need to look at our default rate in the college. I think a lot of students take financial aid and they accept the loan money, and they weren't looking to the future. They weren't looking that eventually they're going to have to pay those monies back. And what is that payment going to look like over time? It's building. I don't think they realized how much that loan repayment plan was going to be. And so we needed to help them come to terms with that, help them make smarter choices with their borrowing as they're a student, and then also help them choosing a repayment plan that will work for them. There's multiple repayment plans, and a lot of our students and staff were not aware that the government will work with you. They're not lending you money to break you in the end. They do want you to be able to be successful. So even if it means doing an income-based repayment and maybe not having to make payments for a while, they're okay with that. They want to work with you. So it's educating our students and helping then in turn lower our default rate so that we're not penalized in any way. We want to be able to offer Title IV funding, financial aid. It's affected by everyone's default rate. So
what you're saying is if we have a high default rate, the amount of money that will become available to Gateway students will decrease because frankly, we've been bad.
Because our students haven't been good about repaying their debts.
So it benefits students both ways, but can you offer a scenario? You've got a new student coming in and they've completed their FAFSA, they have qualified for financial aid. How will you be using SALT once they get that award?
So what we're actually hoping to do is to introduce SALT to our students when they first become students. So through the admissions application process, we're hoping that our students will utilize SALT for many different aspects other than just the financial aid options. One of the greatest things that they offer is just content about scholarships. They have content about applying for jobs and job interviews. Really, it's just about financial well-being as a whole. So we're hoping to introduce it to students as they join, but it's also going to be available to our alumni. And we want them to be able to utilize it to help with their futures as well. One of the greatest things about SALT is that after you initially sign up and join, you can then go in and build your profile. And they'll ask you specific questions about where you currently are in your educational career. Are you a new student, a continuing student, a graduating student, or an alumni? They'll ask information about your household, all those types of things to kind of build content specifically for where you're at in your educational journey. So it's really neat. It's very, I guess, smart technology. So it wants the content to meet you where your needs are. So that's something that we're really proud of.
Talk to me about confidentiality, because I'm sure that when you said if it's that specific to my situation, a lot of people are rather reluctant about coming up with those details. I know you've ensured that you've picked a vendor who does maintain that confidentiality.
Yes, they follow the same guidelines, the same privacy laws that we're required to follow and that any financial agency is required to follow. So any information that is shared with SALT by the student or by the college is all going to be secure. And it's only going to be shared between us and them. Another benefit of SALT is that it will actually work with our students one-on-one after they graduate. So once they're in that grace period and going into repayment, they can utilize SALT as a resource or kind of as a third party to work between them and their lender to make sure that they're aware of their different repayment options, that they understand their payments, and they can utilize them as a resource. So it's really a great benefit.
Can you describe that a little bit? It's hard to really envision how that might work.
Sure.
Maybe an example.
So you had asked, a moment ago, like what it would be like for a new student, like what we might use. So like coming in the door and they're first offered maybe some grant money and maybe a subsidized loan, which is what we will typically offer any incoming new student if they are eligible to receive that. And then let's say that student says, I have some life situations, I think I need to borrow some more loan money. What we envision SALT helping us do is they have money management modules, and we would like to incorporate for instance, their budgeting module, where we would actually help the student budget looking at what their current cost of living is, and they plug in all their utility, their current maybe credit card bills, stuff like that, and then we look at their cost of school and then what they're getting for financial aid currently. And we look to see that that can last them the whole semester long. And that budgeting module would be us integrating it in and actually making part of a requirement that before we will allow another loan to go on there, we want to make sure that they have that understanding that maybe they don't necessarily need to take it and potentially over borrow and have a better picture of what their circumstances are. And then to build what Sam was saying, and to build on that, an example of a student then upon graduation, we have an exit counseling initiative. So anybody who is done with school, whether it be graduating or they decide they need to take a break for a while, we want to do exit counseling with them. And that's something that's federally required. And you might have seen it on the website the last couple semesters. Yes. And we meet with them and we help them choose the repayment plan that works for them at the time. Now, SALT would step in then and keep constant contact with the student. So after they graduate, they might get an email a month or two after they graduate. Hey, I just want to let you know, in about 4 months, you're going to be starting your repayment plan. This is what you currently chose. And we want to make sure that still looks like it's a good fit for you. And they keep up that communication every couple of months so that when they do enter the repayment plan time frame, they are ensured that they're in what the right circumstances are for them to be able to make those payments and not go into default. And if the student at some point says, you know what, or alumni I should say, you know what, this isn't feeling, I don't know if I can make that payment that I initially chose, then SALT will even act as a third party, help you call the lender. So they will get on the phone with the student, call the lender, and initiate that conversation that will help the lender see, hey, circumstances have changed. What I originally thought was going to work for me might not. Do I qualify for any other kind of repayment plan?
How do they get involved?
There's 2 ways that they can sign up right now. We did send out an initial email to all students that we have email addresses for, but currently there's 2 ways that they can go about signing up and starting an account. So they can sign up through our website. If you go to gtc.edu, there's actually a SALT page.
So it's probably /SALT.
Yes. Or they can go to saltmoney.org /gateway. And either one of those will bring them to the Gateway SALT page, and they can sign up and start their account right away.
We have been talking with student finance specialists, Sam Duzek and Tanya Prasko, and we're going to be moving on with our program now with hearing more about the electrical engineering program. That's always been one of the most popular programs, has wonderful transfer agreements with other four-year colleges to get your engineering degree, and that can save you in the neighborhood of $65,000 in tuition costs alone to be able to start at Gateway and move forward toward an engineering degree. And right after that, another way for students to save money is through scholarships from the Gateway Technical College Foundation, and we'll be hearing from their director quite soon. So thanks for joining us on the program today.
So you should at least be getting some voltage. It may not be 10 or 3, but you should be getting something there. And then from here at Gateway Technical College in the Electrical Engineering Technology program, we teach the students how to troubleshoot, how to build circuits, and we also teach them about all of the components that make up different electronic equipment. So some of the classes that the students would take in the EET program would be, at the beginning they start out with a DCAC1 class. Towards the middle of the program they would be taking a class such as Electronic Devices 1. Towards the end of their program they would take a class such as Electronic Circuit Analysis.
So right now for a microprocessors class, we're actually programming a robotic arm. So I like that we learn and then we apply it right away.
We can actually apply and work with in our labs and actually build the circuits and do a lot of hands-on projects.
The EET program at Gateway focuses on learning by doing. All topics covered in class are explored during the hands-on laboratory, utilizing state-of-the-art test equipment in the Advanced Electronic Lab.
During the lab time, the students actually would work on either pre-made circuits that they would just analyze and then input data for. And they also have their hands-on labs where they're actually building the circuit themselves.
This is my circuit build for the end of the semesters for the finals. It's an RLC circuit. They give you the schematic and they give you all the equipment to build it. So I build the circuit, hook it up, and it gives me the measurements right here. And then they supply the formula for me to get this number with this equipment.
The wide range of equipment utilized in the lab gives students an opportunity to gain experience with the equipment they can expect to find in the workplace.
All of the classes for the EET program are taken at the IMET Center in Sturtevant.
It's a really nice setup. This building is really awesome.
All of our testing equipment is the same as big name companies in their R&D labs as well, so it's a reassuring that we have the latest technology on campus.
The EET program offers self-paced courses during the day and evening blocks of time. Students taking these courses can set their own schedule, making this program ideal for busy lifestyles.
So the open lab concept means that the students are able to pick from a window of time when they want their lab to be and when they want their lecture to be.
It allowed me to work at the same time, so it's very flexible.
The scheduling works out really great because you come in the first day of class and you actually choose when you can take it and set up a lecture time, and then any time after that the labs are open.
Graduates of Gateway's EET program have a high placement rate in industries such as aerospace, electronics, communications, and power generation. Technicians may work in product evaluation and testing, using measuring and diagnostic devices to adjust, test, and repair equipment, or help engineers design and develop computers, communication equipment, or medical monitoring devices.
I want to start off working in a hospital setting where fixing the equipment, medical equipment.
Graduates who wish to continue their education will benefit from a transfer agreement with the Milwaukee School of Engineering. Those wishing to transfer to MSOE can be admitted with junior status in MSOE's Bachelor of Science Electrical Engineering Technology program.
So my plans after I graduate is to transfer to MSOE to complete my bachelor's degree in biomedical engineering. And after that, I would love to work for a medical manufacturing company and specialize in medical imaging.
This program is a very good opportunity for people who like to work with their hands, like to find out how things work, and like to work with different types of electronic equipment. There is a very good outlook, and many graduates go on to have very successful careers in this field.
If you would like to find out more about Gateway's Electrical Engineering Technology program, go to gtc.edu/EET.
Welcome back to Gateway Connection. Today we're joined again by Jennifer Charpentier, the director of Gateway Technical College Foundation. Jennifer, thank you for coming back and talking to us.
It's my
today.
pleasure to be here.
I know you have a lot of really exciting things to tell us, but before we start on some of the more exciting things, would you mind just giving our listeners and our viewers a little bit of the background of the Gateway Foundation and what it is and what it does?
Sure. So the foundation was started in 1977. And it is a separate 501c3 from the college. It has a volunteer board of directors, and our mission is to support the educational and cultural activities of the college. So in real shorthand, we help students.
Wow, what a nice job you have to
Oh,
help
it's
students.
fantastic.
Oh, I love it. Now, I hear that there were a large number of students that received scholarships totaling an impressive amount of money. Can you tell us more about that?
So in our last fiscal year, for our continuing student scholarships, which are awarded in January, and our students are applying now for those scholarships.
Excellent.
That amount that we awarded was over $96,000 to more than 130 students. It was close to 160 scholarships that were awarded. And then we also have a high school student scholarship program, and with those additional scholarships, we awarded over $100,000 in the last fiscal year.
Oh my goodness. And can you tell us a little bit about those scholarships? What specifically were they for?
Sure. So the continuing student scholarships are for students who have been some time at Gateway. Typically, they've completed 3 to 6 credits, sometimes up to 12 credits, before they would be eligible to apply for a scholarship.
Okay.
They need to have at least a 2.0 GPA.
I see.
So they need a C average in order to be able to apply.
That's not bad.
And and so what they need to do is to apply once online, and based on the answers that they tell us about their background and what their hopes and dreams are, then we match them to the criteria of the scholarships that we have. And then we have the wonderful decisions to make in terms of the final awards. And we are very fortunate that we actually have a group of volunteers. We have more than 30 volunteers who help read scholarship applications, and they rate those applications based on the criteria of the scholarship. And so we're very grateful to that group of people who help us make those decisions. And then the awards ceremony is in January. So January 2015, we will be having our awards ceremony. And students right now, their applications, they're applying for scholarships anywhere between $250 all the way up to $2,000.
Oh my gosh, that's wonderful. Can I ask about, I have actually a couple questions I wanted to ask. Your board of directors, who composes the board of directors?
So our board of directors are 17 people from the community.
Oh,
they are
really?
representative of Walworth, Kenosha, and Racine counties.
Oh my.
And
Wonderful.
they come from a variety of backgrounds. Many of them are in some form of industry. And so we have, they do their work much of their work is done in committees. And so they provide financial oversight of the foundation's funds. They help steward our donor relationships and build relationships with our donors, and make sure our donors know how much we appreciate their support and the impact of their giving. So
That's really exciting. So it sounds like the foundation is truly a representation of the community.
it is. It is.
As far as your volunteers who are helping out on the foundation, are they also from the community, or
They
where do
are
come
also from the community. Many of them are Gateway retirees, and so
Oh, how nice.
many of them have spent their lives helping Gateway students. And this is one more way that they are helping to continue to help students in our community, and with helping to further educational goals.
Oh, that's neat.
So, but not all of them are. Some of them are simply people who are passionate about education who live in our community.
Who supports the foundation?
We have a variety of very generous donors who support the foundation. They range from individual donors, some are Gateway alumni, to local businesses and corporations, and some of the larger corporations in the district. And a few foundations also support our Gateway Foundation.
Are there any particular fundraisers that are held to help support the foundation?
So we invite people to be a part of the foundation through making an investment in a variety of ways. One might be that we invite them to make a gift because we've written to them in the mail, or it might be that we visit with them over a cup of coffee or in their office. But probably the activity that we may be best known for is our Foundation Scramble, which is a golf outing.
Oh,
It's held, yes, it is. We've been holding it for more than 20 years. We just celebrated our 20th anniversary.
Congratulations.
Thank you,
Very nice.
thank you. That was based on a lot of great work of many people over many decades. So we have a golf outing that is the Thursday before Memorial Day. And this last year it was at Hawksview Golf Course in Lake Geneva, and it will be at Hawksview again this next coming year. After the first of the year, we'll be offering registration, and if your company is interested in sponsoring, please feel free to be in touch with me or Celeste Hankin, who's also on our staff.
Excellent.
And there's more information about it on our website. The foundation has a web page within the website, within Gateway's website itself.
So go to gtc.edu and you can put Gateway Foundation in the search
you can just
box?
You can just /foundation and you'll find us.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah.
Great. Can you tell us if someone's a student and they have these hours behind them, three credit hours or more at Gateway, and they're in a program, how can they become a benefactor? What are the steps for applying?
To apply for the scholarship?
Yeah, for a scholarship.
So their first step is they will go to, we have an online application, and their first step is to complete that application, or they'll create an account for themselves. And one of the things that does for them, allows them to come back and save their work. So it's not like you have to complete the application in one sitting. And then what they want to do is to fill out the information. They also want to talk with their references. So we encourage students to have at least one, if not two references. And folks who make great references are supervisors, community leaders, perhaps their house of worship leader, depending on what they're doing.
Oh, I see.
Someone who knows them well. Gateway faculty and staff also make great references. They want to talk with the references, make sure that they get the correct email address where we can send them a link. And so there's no paper reference with envelopes or anything they need to be concerned about.
In what ways has the foundation benefited the community, do you think?
So, well, several ways. One is that we have, based on some research that we did at had done at the college, we know that students who graduated, or students who received scholarships between 2009 and 2012, that they graduated at a 10% higher rate than the benchmark at the college. So we know that the foundation funds are helping our students. We also know anecdotally from our students the huge impact that receiving a scholarship means to them. Either that it's helping to relieve some financial burden. Sometimes it also means to them that this is maybe the first kind of acknowledgement they've had like this before.
Oh, how wonderful.
Yeah, it's truly wonderful. Another way that the foundation funds help the community is through students who have experienced an unanticipated, unexpected event that could derail them from their Gateway time. So it could take them away from finishing at Gateway. And we do offer student emergency funds. So it's a grant that can be up to $500. It is typically for things that, like a car repair or a bus pass, or sometimes it might be, depending on what the situation was, that it means we want to help them stay and persist at Gateway.
Like childcare or something to help them.
And if you're a Gateway student and you're in this situation, your first step is to go talk to a support counselor at one of our campuses, and she can get you started in terms of thinking about how do we look at issues that you're facing, barriers you're facing, and how do we problem solve around those barriers. And one of those solutions may be resources in the community and funds through the emergency grants.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. I really hope the word gets out and more students start applying for these scholarships.
Yes.
Because it is such a wonderful opportunity for them.
Yes.
Just in our last few seconds of closing, are there any last information about your hopes or things that you want for the future of the foundation?
Well, we really, our goal is really to support the college, and and however we need to do that through private philanthropic support, and inviting the community in to be a part of Gateway, maybe in a different way than they have before, and helping to build that relationship, because the college really is the community's college, and we are a way of, through private philanthropic dollars, of helping to support that.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much again, Jennifer, for coming and talking to us. We've been talking to Jennifer Charpentier. She's the director of Gateway Technical College Foundation.